passing away last night. What did you think?
Oh, first of all, I was fortunate to get to know him and spend private time with him. 30 years, we see each other at different events. But his attorney, Ron DiNicola, is a very close friend of mine. So I was very fortunate to have private dinners with him, get to know him, and he was a wonderful, wonderful man. He's the only one who's ever been bigger than the sport. Not only is he bigger than the sport, if you had a Mount Rushmore of cultural icons, the first two would be Muhammad Ali and Bob Dylan. After that, I don't know. So he's bigger than the sport. He's the most famous face, most recognizable, and worldwide. That's pretty incredible.
It's unfortunate, the battle of Parkinson's and everything that happened throughout the years. What did he mean for your career?
Well, for me, the funny thing is, when I met Muhammad, I first met him in 1982 after I won the world title. Bob Arum and Rodolfo Sabatini, the time promoter, brought me to Italy for a promotional tour. And the first place I went was Milan, and I was on a TV show with Muhammad Ali. And it was wonderful. And he was bigger than life to me, of course. But I'll never forget, my father was sitting there, and we were on a break, and he went up behind my father, and he used to do these things with his finger, like sound like a cricket. My father, I'll never say, my father said, whoever's doing it, whoever's going to, I'm going to kick the crap out of you. There I was Ali gave him a big hug. And you could just see he was so playful. And we know now that he was the first one to bring psychological warfare to the game. I never heard of it before Ali did it. We're not talking about guys calling them names and stuff. He'd beat them he'd break them down before he got in the ring. But now we all know he did it with tongue in cheek. He was just so far ahead of his game. He was so far ahead of the sport. We'll never ever see a man of that size be so graceful and so beautiful the way he moved. And moved so elegantly. Never. He truly is the greatest.
What's your favorite memory of him? Even if it's outside the ring.
I tell you, talking about the fights, the fight that he lost to Joe Frazier, which again, the fight in 1971, March 8, 1971, probably the greatest cultural event ever. It was a cultural event. Everybody in the world knew about that. It was the only time Frank Sinatra asked Life magazine if he could take pictures. He was taking pictures for Life magazine. Burt Lancaster was doing the commentary with Don Dunphy. That event, when he got knocked down in the 15th round, the way Joe Frazier hit, Joe Frazier would knock a building down with that left hook. He dropped Ali in that 15th round. Ali went down and got right up. Literally, just went down, got right up. Wasn't staggering around. And a punch like that showed, to me, that was his true greatness. Because not only was he the greatest fighter, he had one of the greatest chins of all time. That fight would have kept anybody else down. I think that one, of course, when he beat George Foreman. Nobody expected that. And he, with the rope and dope, he didn't train for that. George pinned him on the rope so much that all he just kept his arms up, realized later on, he said, I trained for that. He never trained for that. But that, way he knocked out George Foreman. And then, of course, the first fight against Sonny Liston.
Yeah.
But people don't remember, I also remember the fight right before, last fight in 1966, before he got put in jail, before the hiatus, when his career was stalled. May have been his greatest fight when he fought Big Cat Williams and down in Houston. That was the greatest Ali ever saw. His hands were so fast, he was on target. So those four events for me are the best for Ali. But don't forget, Thrill in Manila.
Who can't?
You can't. The Thrill in Manila, of course. But Joe, for both guys, that might have been the greatest moment. Even for Joe, even though he lost, it might have been his greatest moment. Except, well, of course, when he beat Ali in 1971, of course. So there's so many in my mind. Being with them, he was just wonderful, man.
Him, he's transcended the sport.
That's right.
I don't really have anything else. Anything you want to add?
Nah, I don't think we'll know this full how far depths of his greatness, how far he reached across the globe until years to come, because they'll never. When they say there's never going to be another one like him, it'll be never one like him ever. And the last time I saw him, when he was, I was spending time, and he was still speaking at time. He gave me a hug, and he whispered in my ear, "Stay pretty, stay pretty." I love that.
Boo Boo, thank you so much.
Thank you very
nice
much.
meeting you.
Here's the Detroit guys here. I love this shirt, man. Where'd you find it?
Walmart.
Yes, that's a good story.
September, barber school, and I got third to.
Ready for him? Go get your scores, buddy. Let's get. Are you local?
I got a camel.
All right, great. Excellent, excellent.
Sid.